I'm constantly cutting out bits and pieces where I'm like, hey, it's disgusting.
It's like you work a little too good.
You are working too hard. Take some time off, babe.
Take a day off, okay? Hello.
Hi.
This is our show. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Thank you for being patient while we get more stuff out. Today, Celeste is going to be telling us a story, so buckle in.
Yes. All right, so this story happened in Bulgaria, so this topic is a little bit hard to research. I feel like most of my stories have to do with like something that happened in Europe.
Yeah.
So like when I'm researching it, it's kind of hard to find stuff.
In English?
Yeah, most of the sources are in German, so.
Oh, okay.
But this is another bizarre story that we're going to be covering today.
Oh my god.
And it's the Lars Mittank case, or Lars Mittank case. I think it's Mittank, because that just sounds more German to me, so I'm going to say Mittank.
Yeah.
Lars was born on February 19th of 1986 in Berlin, Germany. Here's a picture of him.
Oh, he's cute.
Yeah, he's really cute. He was an only child, and he was still pretty young when he moved to Itzehoe, Germany with his parents.
Mm-hmm.
Itzehoe is like a nice little family town. It's like a good place to raise kids and stuff, you know.
Oh, okay.
He was always a really good kid. Like, he did great in school and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
He always succeeded at everything that he did, and he was really outdoorsy as well. As he became older, he continued to exceed in school and, like... Did you hear that? And he always had a really easy time, like, making friends and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
He loved to go fishing and swimming. He would also go on a lot of vacations with his friends. He really enjoyed stuff like that. Out of all of his hobbies, his most favorite thing in the world was football, aka soccer. You'll just want to put a pin in this. His favorite team was the SV Werder Club. He got really good grades in college, not surprisingly. Like, he did good in high school and everything, so when he got to college, he did a great job. After he graduated, he got a job at a power plant as an engineer.
Oh.
The power plant was in Wilhelmshaven. He had a really good job and he was doing really well for himself.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, in 2012, his dad fell ill. He had a stroke. Lars was always really close to his parents. He worked 100 miles away at the time, but he would come home every weekend to take care of his parents because he was worried about them, obviously.
Yeah.
And he wanted to help his mom out and also take care of his dad. So he would make the weekend trip every time to go take care of him. Apart from the struggles with his dad, Lars was doing pretty well. He was still really into football and hanging out with his friends. Ultimately, he just liked to be close to his parents because he didn't want to be too far from his dad, especially since his dad was sick. You know?
Oh, yeah.
When his friends asked him if he wanted to go on a vacation or plan a vacation with them, he was like, yeah, maybe, but he was pretty hesitant.
Yeah, he wants to be nearby in case anything happens.
Yeah, his mom basically had to push him. Like, she was like, you should just go. Eventually, he decided that he was gonna go. He planned a trip with his friends to Varna, Bulgaria, and it was the summer of 2014 between June and July. Varna, Bulgaria, it's like a vacation spot. It's like, the way that I would describe it to an American is maybe like Miami Beach.
Okay.
It's cheap to travel there. There's a lot of things to do. Really good food. There's like a boardwalk with a Ferris wheel, and there's a bunch of casinos, a bunch of clubs and stuff like that. It's a really good spot for like young people to go and party, basically, you know. I was like, that sounds so fun.
That sounds so fun.
He goes with his friends. 3 of them are childhood friends and 2 of them are from school. And they plan this trip. They get there on June 30th. So it's Lars and his 5 friends. And they check into an all-inclusive resort in Varna.
Oh.
Yeah. His friends are doing like typical vacation things, like going to the bar, eating out, hanging out, being lazy at the hotel, going to the pool, you know, just like normal vacation things that you would do.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's what I would do.
Yeah, just chill.
Lars was different. When he was on the vacation, he wasn't eating a whole lot. His friend said that the reason why was because he was on a diet, which I feel like that's normal, and also with the heat, it can make it so that your metabolism goes up. So he just wasn't very hungry, so he wasn't eating out a whole lot. And he found a bunch of people on the beach that he was playing football with. So he wasn't really like going to the bars and eating and drinking, because he was having more fun doing his favorite thing in the world, which was football.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But on the 4th day of the vacation, July 3rd, 2014, Lars meets back up with his friends at the bar to watch a football game between the Netherlands and Costa Rica. He's just hanging out with them. Everything's fine. They're drinking. These, I think, high schoolers or like college kids. And they start a fight with Lars. It's unknown whether it was like over the fact that he was wearing his favorite jersey for his favorite team, which was the Werder Bremen team.
Oh, yeah.
Or if it was over the game that was playing on the TV.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why.
Jeez. Also, maybe if it was like a drunk fight, like people just drinking, watching the game or something.
Maybe they were like, "That's your favorite team?"
Oh, you little.
I never have understood team rivalries.
No.
Like when it comes to sports, I understand the hype because it's like fun to watch hot men do things.
Wrestle. Tackle each other and.
Yeah. But it's like, I don't know. Why get in a fight over it? Your favorite team? I don't really understand that. They were being kind of intense with him, but it didn't escalate past that. It was just an argument. They got pretty rowdy, but after a while, they calmed down and the fight settles. Around 4 a.m., Lars and his friends leave the bar. I think the bar had shut down. They were like the last to leave.
Jeez.
And his friends were like, "We're gonna go to McDonald's and get some food." This is like so unrelated to the story, but the McDonald's looks so cool there.
Oh, in Bulgaria?
Yeah, in Varna, Bulgaria.
Oh
I
my
think
God.
it's like different than other European countries because it's a vacation hotspot.
Oh.
But this is what it looks like. It's like a little pop-up stand.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You walk up, it's open 24 hours. I looked at the menu and they have all this cool stuff. Like they have like grilled fish and pasta and like salads and stuff.
Oh my
and potato
God.
wedges.
Yum.
Yeah. I was like, dang, imagine if our McDonald's had that stuff.
Oh my God. We should do a side series of McDonald's around the world.
We really should. So yeah, completely unrelated, but like gourmet McDonald's. Lars's friends go to McDonald's. Like I said, Lars was on a diet, so he was like, I'm just gonna go home.
That's weird because it's like 4 a.m.
I know. Maybe he was just really tired. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
He ends up walking by himself back to the hotel,
Uh-huh.
and he gets jumped. Yeah, and
my
it's like
God.
these random guys. He was able to get away with not many injuries, but the attack results in a blown eardrum.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ouch.
from getting punched like in the ear.
Ouch.
Yeah. The next morning on July 4th, 2014, he calls his girlfriend and he's telling her what happened. And she's like, you should go to the doctor and get your ear checked out.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells her that he thinks that the guys he got in a fight with the night before hired somebody to beat him up.
Oh.
Because apparently it's really easy to like hire people in Bulgaria to like jump people, I guess.
Oh my God.
I don't really know how much fact is behind that, but from my research, that's what I found. So he's telling her about that. She's like, you should go to the doctor. And he's like, I don't know where I can go to get my ear checked out because it's the weekend. Everything's closed. And he's like, hopefully it'll just heal on its own. Which I'm like, that is such like a man guy thing to say.
That's your ear.
Yeah, dude. On July 5th and 6th, Lars and his friends continue partying, having fun, and just doing vacation things. And everything seems to be going pretty smoothly. No more bar fights or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the vacation starts to wind down to a close. On July 7th, Lars and his friends are getting ready to leave and check out of the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
He tells them, my ear is still really bothering me, so I think I'm gonna have to go get it checked out before I fly because I would hate if it got worse or flying resulted in me losing my hearing.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just gonna go get it checked out. So one of his friends is like, I'll go with you. And so they go together to the doctor.
Uh-huh.
And the doctor is like, yeah, you for sure have a blown eardrum. I don't think that you should fly.
Damn.
Yeah. So then they go back to the hotel and he's like, you guys can just go ahead without me. I have to stay behind because the doctor said that I can't fly. And so his friends end up leaving the airport around 8 p.m. And Lars takes a taxi to St. Anna Hospital. The doctor was like, you should go get it checked out a little further. Go to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where he ends up going, to St. Anna Hospital. And around 8:40 p.m., Lars is waiting to see a specialist, but there ends up being some kind of communication barrier, and Lars is never admitted. They end up prescribing him some antibiotics called cefprozil.
Oh, okay.
Like, I guess it's used a lot for ear infections specifically. He comes out of the hospital, takes the same taxi that dropped him off, and asks the taxi driver to be taken to the nearest pharmacy. That's around 9:41 p.m. But the pharmacy that he ends up going to doesn't have any more of the prescription that he needs. So he's like, oh, okay, then I have to go to this other pharmacy. So he asks the taxi driver to take him to another pharmacy. He ends up getting the prescription filled at 10:05 p.m. His friends have already left. He's all by himself. But he got the prescription, and he asks the driver to take him to a hotel that he can stay overnight for one night that's cheap. The hotel is called Hotel Color. And apparently it's like a hot spot for drug dealers and sex workers, which doesn't necessarily mean anything. The rating for the hotel, I think they have like 4.5 stars or something like that.
Oh, wow.
It's not like a super shady hotel, but maybe it is, you know? Maybe it's a little shady.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's in a lower income area. Around 11 p.m., Lars goes down to the hotel bar to grab some water so that he can take his medicine. All he had was his cheap cell phone because he left his smartphone at home in Germany. He ends up calling his mom. He asks her if she could pay for more minutes on his phone. And she's like, yeah, I can do that. Then he starts to talk to her about the trip. He tells her all about how those guys got in a fight with him at the bar and how there was a lot of stuff about it that was intense, you know, how he got jumped, how he got a ruptured eardrum, and how the specialist at the hospital mocked him and wouldn't speak to him in English and stuff like that.
Jeez.
She's a little worried about him. She's a little put off by the story of the doctor being intense with him as well. Like, she's just like, what the heck?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's so unprofessional to like be mocking somebody when you're a doctor.
Yeah. She tells him that she'll file a claim with foreign health insurance to secure a patient transport back home to Germany. She calls him back just a few minutes later, and she tells him that the health insurance claim didn't work. Lars started telling her that he needed to leave. He was acting really stressed out. He was acting almost as if he was being wiretapped or something. Like, he was just being, he was acting really paranoid on the phone, and he was like, there's something off about Hotel Color. I don't feel right here. I need you to cancel my credit cards. I have enough cash. He like told her that the clerk at the front desk had written down his card number, and he was really sketched out by that. I know that's like normal practice. They'll write down your card number sometimes if you stay at a hotel, because if you leave without paying, then they can still charge your card, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But he had never experienced this process before, so he was really stressed out about it. And he was like, I need to get out of here. And she was like, okay, I'll cancel your cards. Just hang on a minute. So she calls the bank, and she's like, is there any way that I can just cancel his cards temporarily? And then when he gets back, he can reactivate them. And they're like, no, that's not possible. It's either he has to cancel them completely or just not cancel them, basically. And so she calls him back, and she's like, what do you want to do? They can't like close them temporarily. And he's like, just close them.
That sounds so stressful. Like, as the mom.
Oh my god, I know. She does it for him. She ends up booking him a bus out of Varna for the following night at 11:30 p.m. And she tells him to get a lot of rest because, you know, the trip's gonna be a long trip. Bus rides aren't usually short, so
yeah,
she's like, just make sure you get a lot of rest, take care of yourself, and you'll be out of there soon enough, you know? He's like, okay. Only a few minutes goes by, Lars calls his mom back again, stating that there's something weird going on in the hotel, but he doesn't go into detail. He's almost talking as if he's being watched, like I said. He just sounds really paranoid. Sandra tries to comfort him, but Lars is insistent that he needs to get out of the hotel, and he ends up disconnecting the call.
Oh my god, imagine as a mom, like, how you would feel.
I know. Around 2:30 or 3 a.m., he calls his mom again, and he tells her that he's being followed by 4 men that want to kill him. Just a few minutes later, at 3:06 a.m., Lars texts his mom, quote, Cefzil 500 is, asking what the cefprozil is, his antibiotic, but he like typed it different. Then he repeats the same text, but a few minutes later. Sandra at this point is obviously very worried. She realizes how urgent this situation has become. So she immediately books him a flight for the next day at 4:20 p.m. It's like the earliest flight she can get. Then she doesn't hear from her son for a while. Around 5 a.m., Lars is spotted spotted flagging down a taxi cab, like on the side of the road next to like some bushes. It's a taxi cab, and then there was another passenger already in the car. And they pull over, and they both note that Lars has really dilated pupils. Like super dilated pupils. He ends up getting to the airport. He talks to another German tourist about how to transfer money through Western Union. So he calls his mom, and this is the first time that she's heard from him in a few hours. He explains to her how to use Western Union and how she could transfer money to him, and he's like, can you just transfer me some money? She's like, well, he must be competent enough if he's able to like explain this whole process to me when neither of us have ever used Western Union before, you know?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah. She tells him that she'll transfer him some money. She gives him the flight information and tells him that he should go to the airport medical facility to make sure that his ear is okay and that it's safe for him to fly. He tells her that they won't let him fly because he looks all disheveled from being in hiding the night before. She's like, okay, well, just go clean up in the bathroom and then go. You know, she's worried about him, but she's like, just go clean up in the bathroom, go to the medical facility and come home, you know?
Yeah.
And he was like, okay.
This is so stressful, by the way. I'm like, what is happening?
I know.
Like,
yeah, I know. She calls him back again after a little bit because she hasn't heard from him, and all she can hear is unintelligible whispering. Yeah. So she calls him multiple times after this, but he doesn't answer. Lars goes into the medical clinic. He's trying to talk to the doctor and figure out if he's okay to fly, you know? And the doctor's like, yeah, you're good. You just have to sign some waivers. We can give you some more antibiotics if you want. And he refuses the antibiotics. He tells the doctor, I'll be right back. And apparently he's like whispering under his breath, like, I'll be right back, I'll be right back. The doctor reviews his flight information and gives him some eye drops before this and also clears him with a normal temp. So his behavior is really off.
Yeah.
Based on his medical condition. By this point, it's 10 a.m. Lars runs away. He runs out of the medical facility.
What?
He runs out of the airport and he walks and runs across the highway, then into a field and disappears. Sandra calls the Varna consulate a little while later just to inform them, and they tell her that he ran out of the airport and left all of his bags. The next day on July 9th, the missing persons report is filed. The Wilhelmshaven power plant where Lars worked, they hired a PI based out of Varna to try and do some research. Lars is still currently missing. Shortly after the missing persons report is filed, Sandra decides to go to Varna and have a look around herself. She ends up speaking with the Bulgarian officials who share the airport footage with her. When Sandra, his mom, was shown the footage, she was shown completely different CCTV footage.
What?
Yeah, and the footage that she saw was never released to the public. The footage that she saw is Lars walking about 15 feet or so out into the parking lot where there's a group of policemen standing. He's like 15 feet within the group of policemen. He checks his pockets, like he's checking for like his phone or money, and then he's hiding behind a bus, and he's being super strategic with the way that he's walking.
Like he's hiding from someone?
Yeah.
Oh.
The weird thing is that if he is hiding from someone, he's not looking behind him to see if anyone's following him. Him running out of the airport is weird.
Yeah.
But afterward, how he kind of slows down and he's just walking, it's like he's trying to escape from something, but it's not like he's like all drugged out, you know?
Yeah.
So
that was gonna be my first guess, was if he was on something that was making him act like that.
Yeah.
But it's like when he walks in, he looks like he's perfectly fine. Like the way he's holding his luggage and just kind of like, you know.
Yeah. There's little to no information about the case in general. When there's not a lot of information on a case that's never been solved, there's always going to be a ton of speculation. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of theories about this case.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go over a few. The first theory is the concussion theory. Maybe when Lars got punched in the head, like in the ear, he suffered a traumatic brain injury. A traumatic brain injury or a severe concussion can result in psychosis.
Oh, okay.
According to Mayo Clinic, some of the symptoms of a concussion occur immediately and some occur the day after the injury or a few days after the injury. These are some of the symptoms: concentration and memory complaints, irritability and other personality changes, sensitivity to light and noise, sleep disturbances, psychological adjustment problems, and depression, disorders of taste and smell. The only problem with this theory is that he wasn't really showing any other signs prior to his friend's departure. They didn't notice notice
yeah.
anything out of the ordinary. If he did get a severe brain injury, it's possible that it was just getting progressively worse.
Yeah.
What I think is really strange is if he suffered a traumatic brain injury and he was acting super paranoid on the phone with his mom, why would his paranoia immediately stop once he got out of the airport? Wherever he went after that, his behavior must have continued, right? If he just went to the next town over, maybe somebody spotted him on the side of the road acting weird, I feel like somebody would report that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That makes sense that he would get a concussion and so he starts acting weird. Maybe he didn't really show symptoms when his friends were still in town because like it hadn't really kicked in or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like if he ran out of the airport, then where did he go? Then he would be acting not like his normal self somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. The second theory is the football fans at the bar. So the men at the bar started arguing with Lars. He even thought that somebody hired those men to jump him. People have speculated that maybe the men that were hired to jump Lars were actually hired to kill Lars.
Oh.
And Lars got away barely unscathed, you know? And maybe they were like, well, we have a job to finish, and they stalked him. Like maybe they stalked him all the way to the hotel. Maybe they were trying to scare him at the hotel, and then he got frightened, and then he left, and then they were out there waiting for him, and then they followed him. Who knows? Your eyebrows look so cool.
Thank you. Your eyeshadow looks really cool.
Yeah.
I love the pink.
Thank you with the yellow.
That's so weird. Oh, I hate the not knowing.
Yeah, dude. And sex trafficking could have also been a motive. Maybe the men that were hired to jump him worked in the sex trafficking industry. Maybe they were trying to kidnap him. Because I guess sex trafficking is a big issue in Bulgaria.
Oh.
But what's unusual is the victims of sex trafficking in Bulgaria typically are Romani. They don't usually target tourists because Varna, Bulgaria, is a huge tourist area. It wouldn't be good for tourism if tourists were getting kidnapped.
Mm-hmm. So they're on it kind of thing. Like if...
Yeah. His mom had also noticed that in the video he was avoiding the cops.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to ask them for help, which is really strange because if somebody was after him, you would think he would just run to the cops and be like, can you help me?
Yeah.
But he was avoiding the cops, so did the officials have something to do with it? One of the other common theories is the fact that... The possibility. Lars could have been a drug mule. I'm not super sure how that whole process works, but I know that a lot of times it happens a lot to tourists where they'll get like kidnapped or something and they'll be used as drug mules.
Oh.
It's like really scary, but it's really common.
That's so scary.
And one of the ways to transport the drugs is by digesting it. Maybe those men that were beating him up or whatever, maybe they were like, okay, we'll let you go, but you have to do this for us. So he did it. What if the baggie that he swallowed exploded?
Ruptured.
Maybe that explains his paranoia when he got to the airport as well. Maybe he was like, I don't want to do this. I'll just run away, you know?
And maybe that's why he didn't go to the cops for help, because he was like, what am I going to say? I have drugs inside of me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Exactly. Those are the theories. There's been a ton of alleged sightings of Lars in the past years. In 2016, police in Brazil came across a man that they didn't know and had no identification. Once the image of the man went viral on social media, people thought it was Lars.
Brazil?
Yeah. So this is the picture that went viral. It really does look like him, but the man was later identified as Anton Philippa from Toronto.
Oh.
And he had been missing for 5 years, so unfortunately it wasn't Lars, but it's a miracle that he was found and returned to his family.
Wow.
And in 2019, a truck driver picked up a man in Dresden, Germany, and dropped off in Brandenburg, which is super close to Lars Mittank's hometown in Berlin. It was reported by the Berlin Spectator that the truck driver said that the man strongly resembles an older version of Mittank. But nothing came of that because, according to what I found, the truck driver didn't know who Lars was at the time. But that was in 2019, just 3 years ago.
Dang.
We'll be right back. I'm just gonna finish my makeup and then we'll finish up the rest of the story. So Sandra never stopped looking for her son. In fact, whenever leads would come through, she would go and research it herself. And she ended up finding 15 German expatriates that were in Bulgaria.
Wow.
Luckily, they were returned home. A lot of them were struggling with mental illness or drug addiction, but she still hasn't found Lars. Yeah, it's really sad. It's like one of those cases where you're just like,
what happened?
yeah. If you ever see anybody that looks like him, definitely do what you can to report it. I'll show a picture here on the screen so you can have that information. And yeah, thank you for watching the video today, and thank you for being here. We're really sorry about the inconsistency lately. We got a new job, okay? So we're trying to make money and support our kids.
Yep.
Okay.
Our dog kids.
Yeah. Speaking of our kids, let's grab them real quick.
Okay. Thank you for being here. Spanky and Alfie, thank you as well.
Yeah, thank you for being here, and we hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Yes.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe. don't forget to subscribe and be on the lookout for the next video. We love you.
Love you. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
That was a good one, huh, Bubba?